Hey guys, how's it going? Hey världen, hur är läget? Today I want to talk about something that happened to me like 12 years ago when I was working at the company that was growing very fast, an IT company. And I was in a period of time where I had a hard time saying no to things. You know, everything they asked for, they didn't demand it, but they asked for, Peter, can you do this? PJ, can you do this? And I was handling a lot of stuff at that moment. A lot of different roles, everything from consulting to sales, more or less. And I wouldn't say it started with a phone call, but I was actually, you know, the culmination of it was actually a phone call where I had a customer in the phone, and he was talking and demanding things. You know, he wanted to answer like, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. Or experienced enough or mature enough to ask, you know, do you really need it right now, or can I get back to you? So I tried to solve his things and everything else in the same time. And this is back then when it's, you know, it was a good thing to say, you know, can you handle a lot of things at the same time in your CV? You know, when you apply for a job, that was something that they looked for back then. And just to have a sidetrack, this is kind of bullshit. If you do a lot of things, there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be done mediocre, not good. Today I know, but do one thing and do that thing right as well as you can. Not 5 things, do one thing. Finish that, do the next thing. That's the way I feel that, you know, for me that works the best. That said, I can read an email when I'm doing other things, but I'm not multitasking in that way anymore, ever. So this phone call actually, let's get back to that. I was standing up. I like to stand up when I talk in the phone. I like to stand up when I talked on the phone back then. The reason were, you know, you were also, you know, clearing up your chest, and then you can breathe easier and everything like that. Every bullshit you can learn in a session of standing and talking in phones. Suddenly everything went black. This is the part I don't remember. I was standing up. The next moment I woke up, I was sitting down in my chair, still with a customer, jabbing in the phone, just going on and on and on and on what he wanted from me. So what I did in that moment, I just hung up the phone, put my stuff together, said, I don't know if I said bye to my colleagues, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. I just left. Maybe I said I need to go. See you tomorrow. And this is the point where, you know, I wasn't really in control of myself. No way. I was just reacting more or less, I think, in panic. And I'm not panicking. My body's panicking. This is one of the most horrible things I have ever felt in my entire life. I can assure you that. You know, if you haven't guessed it yet, I actually hit the wall. I was burned out, totally burned out. So I got in the, you know, basement and in the garage, and got my car out, sat in my car, and everything, you know, felt I'm fine. Started driving home, and I had like 10 minutes of driving home, so it was a short trip. About halfway, I was actually, you know, feeling stress in traffic. Well, a few cars, not much cars and all, but a few cars. And I didn't know why, because my mind wasn't stressing, my body was stressing. You know, I had a chest pain, and everything was just, wow, this is a new feeling that I don't want to have anymore. So I was, you know, pretty shocked up, but I continued driving. I'm almost like 1 minute from home, and I had to stop the car and call the ambulance. I had to call 911 or 112 as it is in Sweden, and it took me a couple of tries to do that because I was just shaking in my hands. I didn't think clear. nothing was making sense for me at that point. So I had to wait a few minutes, of course. It's not Star Trek, they can't beam me up. So I waited for the ambulance, they came, and they started talking to me, small talks to see if I was, alive or if they were talking to a dead man. I more or less felt like a dead man. So they put me on one of those stretchers that they have in the ambulance. Took some blood pressure, listened to my heart, listened to my lungs, talking to me. And the first time I heard this question that day was in the ambulance actually, and they asked me, do you have a lot of things to do at work? Just a hint, And I said, no, not really. I remember at this point, I probably was still in shock. I had no clue what was going on, I would say. And I said, yeah, this is like a normal day. It's not that much. And they carry on driving me to the hospital, or the ER actually. They drove me to the ER, and a nurse actually took care of me. She was kind enough to put needles in my arms. Thank you very much. And some blood pressure, in the lungs and heart again. The usual stuff when you're saying you're going to die. So, and this is the second time, and she stopped and said, looked at my numbers and, all the chit chat they do. And she asked me, do you have a lot of things to do at work? This is where it starts to get to me and say, why is everybody asking me that? I feel fine, right? I have a good job, everything is fine, and stressful, yeah, but I have a lot of things. I'm a good guy, I do the best I can. All right. She handed me over to the doctor eventually, and the doctor came and said, hello PJ, how's it going? And I said, yeah, I feel fine. Yeah, she said, yeah, that's why you're here, right? And I said, okay, you got me. And she looked at my, numbers and whatever they look at, her sheet with information. And she said, Peter, do you have a lot of things to do at work? And I said, yeah, I probably do, because everybody's asking the same question over and over again, and that's probably why I'm here, right? And she said, yeah, you should slow down. Remember, this is IT. The IT business was kind of hectic back then, and it probably is still pretty hectic, but that was my life back then. This is what I did. This is what my day-to-day looked at work. So eventually, I took the subway, the tube, U-Bahn, or whatever it's called in different language, home. That ride itself is around 10 minutes. I have never had so much panic in my life until then that I had on that ride, that I had on that train. Never, ever. So in the train, I was just sitting down and not stressing at all. I had my phone. I was back then, barely surfing on it. It was iPhone, the first iPhone I think back then, or whatever it is. I may be wrong, but something like that. And suddenly, my body just stops and says to me, what the hell are you doing on this train? Why are you here? Why are you out with people? Who are you? And all kind of questions just popped up. And I started sweating. This was I think this was one of the wake-up calls I had, because nobody was talking to me, nobody was disturbing me. There was almost no people in the wagon. I was almost alone in that car. But still, I got panicked, and it's. I don't wish anyone this at all. Actually, maybe some, but not everyone. So after this, I got home, or actually had to buy some food first, because I didn't anticipate me coming home in the middle of the day and I would eventually get hungry, right? So I was, the local shop is nearby. I stopped by before I got home, and the same thing happened again. I was standing in line. It was like 2 or 3 people, I don't really remember, before me, and I was standing there like, okay, I'm fine, I'm calm, and my body said, get the hell out of here. You can't handle this right now. So the sweat came back, and I started sweating again, and I was thinking, okay, is this it? Is this how my life's gonna be from now on? Am I able to interact with people at all? That's that. I actually managed to stand in queue in the line, buy my food, a very quick walk home, and when I got home, I turned off my phone. I sat in my sofa, and the TV was on. I had no clue what was showing, but I didn't look at it. I just stared. I was empty. And this actually continued all night long. I was sitting there by myself, emails popping in, I could hear it. And that is stressful, can I assure you that. So finally, I got so tired that, eventually you're gonna have to sleep. And in the morning after, my colleague, a sales guy, called me and said, hey, put on your consultant hat and come into the office. The customer has a very, very important thing that needs to be solved right now. He didn't say no either, for that sake. So I did that. Yes, you can put the stupid hat on me now, because I did that. I went into the office. I sat down in a conference room with this sales guy, and he had a case on the table with the customer stuff and such. So, and at this moment, the CEO came into the room, and that's VD in Swedish. I can't say that in English because that means something else. And he told me, he looked at me and said, PJ, how are you doing? That was the first time I actually realized I feel like crap. I was all white in my face, and there was no energy left at all. No energy. And he said, yeah. And I told him a short story about the day before. And he said, good. Let's turn off your phone and we take care of your emails for 2 weeks. Bye-bye. That's a good CEO. That's a good manager. Now, you may think, yeah, but that manager could do something before that. Yeah, but he wasn't my immediate manager. And I would say I'm to blame myself for a lot of these things. The company, absolutely, but the company reacted in a good way when this happened. So I will not blame them for everything or anything actually, because they reacted in a way that every company should when this happens to someone. So I went back home, I sat down, I turned off this is the first time I turned off the notification on my email, on my mobile phone, and that would continue for the rest of my life. I'm still alive, I think. When this is on YouTube, I think I'm still alive. And this is the part of the story when everything happened, when everything just hit me like a train. And after this, it's more or less sit down, get a grip on what the hell just happened. What happened? Is this something that what is it? Why am I reacting in this way? So I was thinking a lot. I thinking a lot. I didn't go crazier. But I would say that this gave me an insight into myself and what I can do and not do. This is a side step, but I have colleagues and acquaintances that have gotten far more into the wall than I did. They've been away for years after doing this, so I consider myself lucky. And what I got out of it was a couple of weeks off, another thing that actually came out of it was actually I started to say no. I started to see the signs, and I will get back to those in a few minutes. So this is more okay. I have landed. I have landed on Mars. What can I do here? And you start to find things or look for things that makes you survive, right? And going to the store and do some shopping did not help me survive, because I did need to go do some shopping again. Same thing happened. Panic in the line, and as you know, Swedish people like to stand in line, so everybody's standing in line. And this was a horrible feeling. I almost ran home and said, okay, I'm not going out anymore. I'm not leaving my home anymore. This is the reality. Not kidding you for 5 seconds. So the days went by. My manager actually promised, he actually kept what he promised. They didn't call me. They took my inbox and handle it. But it's still, it's like the first day on vacation. You need to wind down. And it takes a couple of days to do that, more than a couple of days, I would say, before your brain says, okay, wow, don't I need to read email? Don't I do this? And it took me a couple of days to do this. Remember, I was all alone, and I wanted that way. My friends were calling, I didn't answer them. They threw some shit on me afterwards, some of them did. They understood when I told them, but I don't think they really understood. I don't think anyone really understands what happened or how it feels until it happens to them. Period. I don't know how many days went by, but I told myself that, okay, whatever comes out of this, it's gonna be a better me going forward. I had that, clarity in my mind. It wasn't my mind that was broken, it was my body. My body was, I got some, double heartbeats and stuff, and ventricular or whatever it's called, and it was my body telling me, you stupid son of a beep, you need to take care and you need to slow down. Period. There's no going forward. You need to stop right here and rethink what the F you're doing. So, and I had the clarity to listen to that, and I was fortunate enough to not hit the wall that hard that I couldn't see this. As I said, I've seen those guys hit the wall so hard that, yeah, you don't want to go there. They're gonna lay in a sofa for 1 year or 2 years and just stare at the walls and the ceiling. That's the only thing they're gonna do. He or she, doesn't matter. You're gonna burn yourself out if you do too much. If your body can't handle it, you're in for a ride. That's not the fun. It's not as fun as it sounds. Hitting a wall is not fun. So none of these days when I was home I won't say that those were recovery. Those were the days when I was more or less enlightened of what actually had happened. I was setting some kind of status quo. Okay, we are here now. This is what happened. Recovery, no way. Recovery came I would say recovery is still going on. Not that I'm stressing up that way, but the recovery is most certainly still going on. I hope you will get out of it, but I don't think you will get out of it totally. You will always have that memory of totally helplessness towards your own body. So remember that. I went back to work after 2 weeks with a different mindset. Still me, still wanting to, perform my best. But from that day on, I started to say no. I looked at my calendar and said, "There's no way in hell I can do that and do this good. So you have to decide. Do you want me to do this or this? It's up to you, dear manager." And that approach was appreciated from management, and that approach, of course, because I'm back working, not lying in a moth bag, and it worked for me too. I could start focusing on the things that was important, and from that day on, actually, it changed me totally. So I'm happy that I didn't go further with it or hitting the wall harder. And I'm sorry for those guys that did and doing it and will do in the future. So I'm going to wrap this up with something that that I noticed, this is some of the signs that you can actually see on a human being when they are starting to be stressed out. The first thing is actually it looks like fish eyes. The eyes, the whites gets more gray. It's a liquidy feeling about the eyes, and they're not as fast as they used to be. This is one of the things I look at when I see. You will hear everything about how I and my partner Annika quit the hamster wheel, or as I like to say, the rat race. I think the rat race is funnier. Hamsters are hamsters. Rats are rats. What is the difference, PA? I don't know. But I know that you should subscribe and you should like. And if you don't like, you should dislike. It's a choice. 50-50. You like it, you like it. You don't like it, don't like it. But it's 100%. You should subscribe.
Bye bye.